The Germans say the U.S. has lifted all of its restrictions on the use of long-range weapons. Can you confirm that? And when was that?
I'm not going to discuss that. No, I'm not going to confirm that. Yes.
All right, folks, welcome back to PrepperNow. Today I want to address something that could derail the Trump presidency in its early stage. Something that is kind of getting more of a concern by people, and that has to do with what is going on with Russia and Ukraine. Trump came out off the gate trying to do ceasefire talks and peace deals, and basically ran into the same old headaches that most people were running into. If you ask, where Russia is in all this, they'll say that they are de-Yahtzeeing the area, and this is something that they want to do. They believe that the eastern portion of Ukraine is basically their people, and they're undoing a lot of things that went wrong about a decade ago, and they don't like having NATO on their doorstep. So if you ask the American intelligence agencies, well, this is kind of problematic. It's problematic to Europe, and basically, you can do a which came first, the chicken or the egg thing with this whole conflict, but fact is that it's ongoing and it's not being solved. And it could lead to bigger and worse things. So there did a press conference. It started with Europe and in Germany. And in Germany, Friedrich Merz, who's the new chancellor, main person, Germany, basically yesterday or the day before, he said, we are going to allow long-range missiles. There's going to be no restrictions whatsoever. So that was kind of a new thing to the public. Well, then he came out and said, well, this has been decided a while ago, and it's nothing new. So then, of course, more questions were coming and going into other NATO members and other members of the European security establishment. And they asked Tammy Bruce, who is the spokesperson, and she basically said, I'm not going to answer that. So now there's a lot of questions as to what is the official policy of America. Are we on board with long-term or long-range use missiles? And what does that look like? Are they already being used? Are they about to be used even further? Are they going to start to do direct attacks on, places in Russia? So this whole thing could turn into something really ugly and really escalatory. Putin, of course, has come out and said, this is not what we're looking for. Trump came out a couple days ago and said Putin's going crazy. And so the rhetoric is really going back and forth. But the problem is, if this does really get going and starts to escalate, and Ukraine is going to use whatever the heck they can get. They're not going to hold back unless they absolutely have to. And so if they get greenlit to go and use long-range missiles, they're going to start lashing out and striking anything that they can put a set of coordinates on. And then if you know where these coordinates come through the geospatial relationship and intelligence of the American establishment, then in Russia's eyes, these are effectively like hits coming from America. And so, we're providing the intelligence, and they're taking it and they're using it, and then they're attacking Russia with it or whatever. And so this is the problem. So here, in America, even Dr. Stephen Turley, if you've ever followed him, I've followed him since he had like 100,000 subscribers. He does good analysis of conservative politics and everything else. Very much pro-Trump, but even he put out that if the Trump administration starts to go after this and gets into a larger conflict with Russia, this is going to just absolutely derail everything that has been started with the administration. And that is the big fear. The big fear is that all of this is just going to get rolling. It's going to get out of hand. And then what is a very regionalized conflict in Eastern Europe is going to become something that's a little bit more continent-wide, and then from there it could expand to wherever. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying that Mr. Trump is getting warned by the very people that helped to put him into office and a lot of people that are, really wanting America to take more of an isolationist stand are not going to, be okay with all of this going on. And they're going to say, hey, we've got to rein this in. We're not looking to get into a war with Russia. We're not looking to be in any kind of a proxy situation in Eastern Europe. And we need to tone down and focus more on domestic affairs and, geopolitics and wars that are going on across the globe. So that is the big question right now. What will things look like if the long-range missiles start to be used? They are unleashed on Russia, and what is Russia's response? What are they going to do? There's been a definite escalation in hostilities between the two. There's been drone swarms. There's been strikes on Kiev. Medvedev came out the other day and said that they're going to establish a buffer zone in Ukraine, and basically all that was left from his map was a small sliver on the very western portion of Ukraine, kind of clearly sending the message, don't mess around. Medvedev came out yesterday and said, you're toying with something that would be potentially opening of a salvo to World War III. So there you have it. Tell me your thoughts. Are we going to resolve this thing? Are we not? Are they going to use long-range missiles? Is Ukraine going to start just going nuts? Is Putin going to escalate? And is this thing going to get out of hand? I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Friends, if you like what we're doing here, hit the buttons and stuff, darken out the bell, get the notifications, and come back for more. Very glad to have you here on PrepperNow. God bless.